Hello, Pyle Catchway. Welcome to the interview round for Power BI developer role. Are you ready to begin?
Yes, I'm ready.
Let's start with the fundamentals. Can you explain the key components of Power BI architecture and how data flows from various sources to reports?
So in the Power BI key components having in Power BI there's so many key components is having, and when we have to connect the data to the various sources. So in the Power BI there are so many sources through that we can connect the data. Like first is the we can connect through the database, we can connect through the cloud, we can connect through the again we can export the CSV also in that input.
It seems there are some parts of your response that need clarity. Can you explain the key components of Power BI architecture and how data flows from various sources to reports?
So in the Power BI, the key components is having like we can the data flow is having in a very same source of that, because in that we can connect the databases, and the cloud system also having in that also we can get the data from there also. And the we can again in Power BI we can easily make the reports and visualization.
I'd like you to elaborate further on your understanding of data visualization principles. Can you discuss some basic chart types in Power BI and their effective uses in data representation?
So the basic chart types is having in a Power BI. So there are so many types of charts is having to make the visualization very useful. Like we can the understanding and the reports also is very proper. In that pie chart is having, graph chart is having. We can use a bar chart and donut chart and lots of things is having in Power BI. So through that we can easily make the reports, and the drag and drop method is having.
I'd like you to focus on how these chart types can effectively represent specific types of data. Can you provide examples of when you would use a pie chart versus a bar chart in a report?
So yeah, when we have to see the like where the years of the years data is getting, and I want to check the which monthly I want to check the data whether the how much the time or date the datas are going, and like the students are giving proper interviews or not. So in that pie chart the graph is having, so that we can see the month and year. So for that we can use that pie chart.
It seems there might be some difficulty in clearly conveying your examples. Let's shift our focus to DAX basics. Can you describe what DAX is and mention a couple of basic DAX functions along with their purposes?
So in the DAG basis functions is that the DAX is majorly we can make the measures in that due to the calculation, like the data set is getting, and we can importing the data in a Power BI. Then after I want to check the calculations that I want to like sum the two table in that. So through the DAX query I am going there and I'm writing the formulas like to so I want to sum the two charts two tables. So in that we can measure in the DAX query that I am writing the formula, and then after the table is creating. So for that the DAX query is having, and the DAX query is mainly used for the data analysis expression.
Thank you for your explanation. Now let's move on to data transformation skills. Can you explain how to use Power Query Editor to import data from various sources and mention how the M language can be utilized for transformations?
So the Power Query editor is also for the data from various sources, like the like in that the Power BI we can use the Power Query, like because when I want to get any data, and then after I want to upload that data in the Power Query, and there I can change or anything, like I want to clean the data, so in the Power Query I can clean that, and some changes I want to do, some cleaning I want to do. So in that query only I can changes or do something in that.
It seems you have touched upon the Power Query Editor's capabilities. Can you provide more details on how you would specifically use M language for transformations within the Power Query Editor?
So actually, I don't remember the M language query in a Power BI.
Understood. Let's shift to data modeling techniques. Can you explain the differences between normalization and denormalization and discuss when you would use each approach in your data model?
So in the normalization and a denormalization is having the two approaches is having in a part data modeling, like the data is not getting in a proper way. So first I have to reach to the all the data sources from various types of websites and URLs is having, and so for that the normalization is having, and denormalization is when the data is get the data is not getting proper, and then after I have to do the lots of research, and then after I have to get and make it in a very structured way and structured way. So that's called the normalization and denormalization.
Thank you for your elaboration. Now, could you explain how you would connect Power BI to Excel and discuss how you might use Excel for data manipulation before importing it into Power BI?
The Power BI to Excel, and this and that the Excel is also is having the we can use the pivot table in that the data is getting, and then after I want to do the Excel and CSV files I want to make. So for that the Excel query is having the Excel, and the Excel in we can like get the data, and then after I want to some formulas input, and then after inputting the formulas and manipulating the data. Manipulating is also because in the CSV I want to import the data from the various kinds of things, so make it in a very proper structure way, so that the manipulation and the manipulating sources is having in a proper way.
Let's move forward to discuss Power BI tools knowledge.